Good afternoon, everybody. Good morning, good evening, depending on where you are. Hope you're all keeping well on this Friday, which for some is the beginning of the weekend. For Mark and me, and here he is. Every day is the weekend. Isn't that right, Mark?
Yep, that is absolutely right.
Right. So Mark's going to be keeping me up to date with what's going on in the chat. I'll just bring the YouTube chat up because it's better than the StreamYard one, and I'll show you what we're doing. So today I've just got a piece of ash. Again, it's a crotch piece of ash, fairly wet. I haven't decided if I'm going to colour it yet. We'll see what happens when I get some shape put into it and what the grain's like and everything. Just bring the speed up. I didn't get that centralised very well, did I?
Is that a fairly dry piece, Wayne? Or
No, it's quite wet. This is the sister piece, if you like, to the one I did. I did one similar about a fortnight ago, I think.
Yep.
So this is the sister piece from that. So I'll start turning, and Mark is going to let me know who's come in to have a look.
Right, so far we've got Andy H's for turning, Barry Fisher, Barry's Wood Creations, Brian at Hardwood Turning, Clive Rogerson, Duncan the Curly Turner, Jazz Today Woodwork, Gerard the French Turner, Robert from Hodgepodge Woodworks, Brent Beecroft, Ian Leonard, Lawrence Begager, Mr. Stacey Smith, Pete from Twisted Trees, Peter the Parkwood Turner, Phil Skoltok, Rex B, Robert Robertson, Robert Dolman, Sid's Repurposing, Steve from SK Kraus, Terry Bartlett, Tom Canada, and Wood Wizardry by Colin.
Excellent.
Go back to the list, see if there's anyone I missed. Robert Dolman, Henry Morgan, Gerard the French Turner, all the usual suspects.
Right.
Jennifer's just come in. Hi, Jennifer.
Hi, Jennifer. The link at the top of the chat is for Steve SK Crafts live tonight, where the special guest earworm is Stuart Farini. So no doubt we'll be having a chat about colouring and texturing.
Dr. Bob's in. Hello, Dr. Bob.
Hey, Bob. You got your donuts?
And your coffee. Oh, here she is. Queen of Wood Turning. Ruby Claire's in.
Good afternoon, Ruby. How are you?
Hiya, Ruby. Chris Dodds is here. Sid's Repurposing.
Bear with me. I've been a bit lazy this morning. Haven't sharpened my tools before I started. I know.
But then with the rubber sorby, it's so quick and easy to do anyway, isn't it? Jay's cabin has just joined.
Hey, Jay. Oh, that's better.
XB's asking, where would you place ash as far as hardness goes? Is it hard as locust or more like pine?
I've never used locust. It's a hell of a lot harder than pine.
The ash is probably sort of medium on the scale.
Best place to look is on the wood database, because that gives the hardness of woods on there.
Nick Castle's joined. Hi, Nick.
Hey, Nick.
Remember, guys, if you've got a question for Wayne, a couple of question marks at the start, just so I don't miss it in the chat. Hiya, Radar.
I just going to form the mortise.
Copper Owl Woodturning's joined. And
Hey,
Chris
Rob.
from Daily Woodworks. Hiya, Chris. Steve's got to go back to work. See you later, Steve.
Thanks for popping in, Steve.
What would you say is your preferred depth for a mortise then, Wayne?
I usually go between sort of 3 and 6 mil. Obviously, depending on the size of the blank. With this one, that's probably around about 5 mil, that, but it'll just get cut down a little bit because I forgot to dish the bottom of this. So I'll just dish the bottom of this slightly.
Pam Harris from Highland Boxes has just joined. Hi, Pam.
Oh, hiya, Pam. Nice to see you.
Welcome along. John S. Casting is in.
Good afternoon.
Mark Stroughton's woken up, and coffee is on its way, apparently.
Nice
Rich
one,
from
Mark.
Rich from the Beard 16's in as well. Hi, Rich.
Good afternoon, Rich. Enjoyed your invade last night. Move that tail stalk back a wee bit.
Dara Collins here as well. Hi, Dara. Duncan the Curly Turner's got a question.
Yeah.
He says, is there a rule of thumb as to whether to use a mortise or a tenon on your blank?
No, there's not really. I would say 90% of the bolt turning that I do, I tend to use a mortise. And to me, it's just personal preference.
I suppose the overall design you go in for has a part to play in it as well, doesn't it?
It does. I mean, it's easier. Or people say it's you can clean off the bottom easier with a tenon on there, and you don't lose as much wood. But actually, you're going down into the wood to form a tenon anyway. So either way you do it, you're going to lose wood if you're going to clean the bottom off.
It is easier to go through the bottom of a bowl when you use a mortise, though, isn't it, Wayne?
It is.
Don't ask me how I know. Greg Alexander's in.
Good afternoon. Right, just going to have a look and see how this bark inclusion's doing. Oh, it's nearly all gone. I'll get rid of all that bark piece. I have got a bit of a crack there where there's been one of the branches coming out. Another one there, that's the centre of the crotch piece. And I had a slip with a bandsaw here as well, so I might have to get rid of that.
Ivy Woodshed's in. Hi, Ivy.
Good afternoon.
Ruby says she almost always uses a tenon, particularly if it's green wood, and I have to return it when it's dry.
Yeah, there is a good reason for using a tenon.
Lionel's in. Natalia De Leo. Bonsoir.
Right, so I'll just adjust my tool rest and just use my smaller gouge just to do a final finishing cut.
This beautiful wood.
Is that picture okay? It looks a bit bleached out to me.
It's a little bit, but it's still, you can see the wood lovely.
Oh, even that's bleached out. Leave it on that one.
Ruby's asking, what's the diameter of the piece?
I'll let you know in a minute, Ruby.
It's also, it's a bit wet, Ruby. It's not dry. David Millar's joined. Hi, David.
Hi, David. Right, what's the diameter? It's about 10 inches by about 2 inches deep. Oh, didn't do a very good cut there.
Pete from Twisted Tree says, I think tenons are best in dodgy timber and green wood, plus of course any AWGB competition where they're quite dismissive of anything that can be remounted.
They are not quite dismissive, very dismissive. Especially on competition pieces. The club that I belong to, obviously before lockdown, we have an open day once a year where we have our club, which is the Border Wood Turners. We've got the Galloway Wood Turners, the Northumberland Wood Turners, I think Wearside or Weardale as well, and a couple of the Cumbria ones, all put pieces in for a competition. And it's usually an AWGB judge that comes to judge them. And yeah, I hadn't taken the mortise off the bottom of mine and got marked down for it.
With Wimpole in. Hi, with Wimpole. And Don the keys here. Hi, Don. Sidley 61's in. Hi, Sidley.
Hey, Sidley.
Radar, the woodturner's having to leave. Go back to work. See you later, Radar.
Some lovely figure in this. I'm just wondering if colour would actually bring it out more. What do you reckon, Mark?
Sorry, I was joking. What's my opinion on colour? Seriously, man.
Excuse me.
Steve Alex is here. Hi, Steve.
Right, I think I'm just going to oil this today. Just to see. I'm not going to colour it. No, I think there's enough. There's enough going on there.
That's what I would have said. Stephen's in. Hi, Wood Dude.
Hey, Stephen. How are you doing?
Ruby's asking, does anyone know if the AWGB has been having any virtual meetings over the last few months?
They were. They started doing a lot of Meet the Woodturner in conjunction with Pat Carroll. But then Pat stopped doing them for the AWGB and he's actually started doing them himself.
G'day, Robbo.
Paper towel.
Oh, where's your paper towel, Wayne?
It's up here, Mark. Right where you told us to put it. Both Mark and I use a clothes rack, a cheapo clothes rack from B&M to mount our cameras on. And he just pointed it out to me this morning before we started that it's brilliant for hanging your paper towel on as well.
And then Wayne said, I'm going to be looking for the paper towel now and I'm not going to know where it is.
I'll forget where it is. So that was lemon oil I used there from Chestnut products. Oh, again, I'll remind people on now. Next Wednesday, I'm not doing a live. That's the 12th of May. I'm not doing a live. Chestnut Products on their YouTube channel are doing a Conkers Live, another Conkers Live, and it's a lass from Scotland who's doing the live. A lass called Kirsty Dalton. Very, very nice work she does with colouring. So I'm going to take a chance to actually watch that. So I can't remember her Instagram page, but she does puts a lot of stuff on Instagram. I don't know if she does very much on YouTube, but I think this is her getting geared up to do more lives.
What's her name again? Kirsty
Dalton. It's in the description, Mark. The next week's Conkers live is the link's in the description.
I was just trying to find her Instagram as well.
Ah, right, okay. Hang on a sec. Have you found it?
Yeah, I've got it.
You got it, right, fine. Stick it in.
Yep, there it is.
But I'm probably going to have to take a fair bit off the top of this before I can start doing any shaping because of that mistake I made with the bandsaw. So this is going to be a fairly shallow dish at the end of the day.
Don't forget, folks, if you like what Wayne's doing, press the thumbs up. If you're not already subscribed, consider subscribing.
That's it.
And if you'd like to comment on this video when it comes back out, I'm sure Wayne would like to see any comments. I'm sure he'll reply to them all. And in the link for his description is his Buy a Coffee link. So you could buy the man a real coffee. Not a flavoured coffee. Top of the chapter, we've also got the link to Steve from SK Crafts show tonight on his channel with special guest earworm Stuart Perini, one of the masters of colour.
So we'll probably have a laugh tonight, and Steve's talking about colouring and how we should be colouring things like this. But it doesn't matter what he does; he's going to get the blame anyway. It'll not be my fault. It'll not be Stuart's fault. And Mark won't comment because he doesn't know about colouring.
I don't know anything about colouring. Rex Speed's got a question. Rex Speed's got a question, sorry.
Yeah, go on.
He says, what thickness does Wayne like to have his platters? And what thickness if you make one for someone to use every day?
Right, if I'm doing a platter, right, this is about 10 inch, so it's going to be more of a dish. A platter to me, this thickness would be sort of 12, 14 inch, and they'd all be around about 2 inches deep. I think it's a nice, it's a nice size. 12 inches up to 16 inches, I'd say about 2 inches deep. Now, I don't know if you can see or not because the camera's probably bleaching that out. But inside the mortise, the colour of the wood inside the mortise here that I drilled out just before I started is a different colour to the rest of this sapwood here. And this is usually what happens with ash when it's wet. That's gone quite a pinky colour there.
Oh, yeah.
You see, it's a bit dark. It's the same wood and everything. Oh, there's some lovely feathering in this.
Is that where the jaws of the chuck compress the fibres?
No, because this is no that would happen at the
Edges.
side.
Okay.
Yeah, that would happen at the edges. This has just changed colour since it's been drilled. I used me drill press to drill this, and because it's wet, that's what happens. It
Right.
just changes colour.
Cool.
Right. So again, seeing as how it's a very basic shape outside, it's going to be a very basic shape inside as well. I'm not going to go thin. I'll probably have in fact, I think you can see here, that's probably how wide I'm going to have the rim of this, I think, and hopefully we'll still be able to pick up or not cut away too much of that feathering that's in there.
Stuart Ingerill's in. Oh, Stuart?
Sorry, Mark?
Stuart Ingerill is in.
Oh, hey, Stuart.
And Richard R.J.K. Spinningwood is in.
Good afternoon.
Like a new name as well. Tyus Stark is in. Hello, Tyus. Good afternoon.
Welcome.
John from New Jersey's here. Hi, John. Tyus, if you've not been here before, feel free to ask any questions about what Wayne's doing. The man is a master wood turner and he loves to answer questions.
I wouldn't go that far.
Picking you up. Could have just said you're a pretty good wood turner and you know stuff.
I'll accept that. Right, I'm not wanting to go through the bottom of this, really.
Jared asked me, he says he's seen a Starbound now as a dealer in the UK. Yes, they do. Will we have to wait donkey's years for one in Ireland? To be honest, I don't know. The corporate side and distribution side of things, they don't really tell us much about in the Starbond family. You'll have to ask them direct, Gerard.
Right, what's that? 5/8. Right. So this is my depth gauge. So what I've got here, right, just a piece of plywood. And when I put that up against the headstock, this edge of the plywood here is vertically down from the end of the jaws. So this piece fits into the bedways. The metal rod here is, let's move that closer. The metal rod here is vertically up from the end of this piece of plywood. So when I bring that up and put the metal rod up against the bottom of the bowl, the space here that you can see between the two bits of plywood, that's how much depth is left at the bottom of the bowl. And that's about 5/8 of an inch, which is about 16 mil, I believe, isn't it? Yep, 16 mil, 5/8 of an inch. So I'm quite happy with that. I could go a fair bit thinner, to tell you the truth, but I'm not going to bother. I'm going to leave it as it is.
We've got Paul Finley wood turning at Homes in.
Hi, Paul.
We've also got a comment from Tyus that says, I've watched a few of Wayne's lives and many of his and my videos on here. I'm new to turning myself, only been doing it since January. Well done.
Nice one.
You can't get much better teacher than Wayne. I speak from personal experience.
He was traumatized for 6 months.
Douglas is asking, all hail the wood Jedi, how fast does a South African swallow fly in the summer?
65 miles an hour.
No, we don't need to slow him down today. He's fine. He's on track. John Scarborough's in.
Who's in, sorry?
John Scarborough.
Hey, John.
See, Douglas, you've also got to ask, is it the ground speed velocity or the air speed velocity? Because there would be two different figures.
Right. I've just realised I haven't flattened that off properly in the bottom, so I'll just...
One more pass.
Yeah, it's just from here in, it's raised up a wee bit. There we go. Is Ian in the shed in? Have you seen his name?
He was in earlier.
Oh, he's probably gone back to work. I was just going to ask him how he's getting on with his new lathe.
Rex is asking, what speed do you run the lathe at when you're using drilling? Wayne?
Sorry?
What speed do you run the lathe at when you use drilly for Rex speed?
The same speed as that I'm doing the turn at, which at the moment is about 700 revs. I'm not going particularly fast on this.
Speak of the devil, Ian in the shed is in.
I was just talking about you, Ian. How are you getting on with the new lathe?
John Scarborough's asking, he says his compressor is packed up this morning. Has anybody got a suggestion for a reasonable, economic and new one?
Economic? Whereabouts are you, John?
Would you consider £250 uneconomic? Because the one I've got is the Titan Precision Pro, and it's almost silent, and it's a beast.
Yeah, certain
Same one Jamie and
compromise.
Dale have.
Yeah, certain compromises to make. If you want something silent, you're going to be paying more money. If you don't mind the noise of a compressor, you can get them fairly cheap. In the UK, you can get no bad ones from Machine Mart. You can get quite a good one from either Aldi or Lidl when the DIY stuff comes up. That's what I've got. I've got the one from Lidl's, which is a fairly big capacity tank.
He's in his second.
There we go.
Oh yes, Paul was said. Woodworm Paul says he's ordered his new lathe yesterday.
What are you getting, Paul?
I believe he's gone for the Stratos FU230.
Oh, nice one. All right, yeah. Nice one. You can't really see the colours and the feathering in this too good at the moment, but it'll probably stand out a lot better once I show it on the main camera. So again, this is just lemon oil. It's been sanded to 240, and I'm just using lemon oil on here. How are we doing on time, Mark?
Oh, plenty. 37 minutes.
No good. Looks like this is going to be a fairly short one today. There we are. Oh, I'm liking that. It nearly looks like one of the string pull effects that I do. Clean my mouse mat off, all the shavings. Come and have a sit down.
John, here's the link for the air compressor that I've got.
Hello again.
Here he is.
Yeah, pancake air compressors. That's the ones, isn't it?
Yeah.
Right, guys. I'll try and get this without any glare if I can. How's that? Is that showing up? So obviously we've got the two bits of the crotch here. This has been the center of the crotch, and there's some beautiful feathering in there. It's not really showing up. It'll probably show up a lot better once I take a photograph and have a play with the contrast. It'll probably show up a lot better. A bit of a crack up here. Again, this is really just a practice piece. It won't be going up for sale. It seems how it's a practice piece. Jamie's mother will probably end up getting it. Right then. There you go. Gerard's had a word with Starbund about shipping to Ireland.
Ian says he's not used to his tool rest being able to move, so he's having to get used to adjusting tool height.
Right, you can actually buy. Now I know what he means. I think he probably had problems on his old lathe, but Axminster do sell collars for going on your tool rest. So if you tend to keep your tool rest at the same height all the time, you can get the collar to fit on the tool rest, so it actually stays at that height all the time.
There you go, Wayne. I've got one there.
Oh yeah, there you. Oh, hang on. Will I bring Mark in? Oh,
There you go.
there we go.
Just screws on with and binds down with a small Allen key. Allen screw there. So you can adjust it however you want. Yeah.
Oh my goodness, that's only 40 minutes. Right, I'll hang about for a while if people have got any questions. You want to do a quick Q&A. If me and Mark can't answer them, I'm sure somebody in the chat will, if anybody's got any questions.
Ian, those collar things are quite cheap as well.
Robo's actually said, use a hose clip, they're cheaper.
Yeah, I dare say that would work.
Yeah, I mean, what I did on my on one of my drill things that I use with the indexing jig, I just turned one out of the wood and just put a wood screw through it to hold it at the height.
John's asking what wood it was.
It's ash, John. It's a crotch piece of ash. That's what it is.
Doug Miller's just said, done already. Good morning, guys.
Sorry, Doug.
He hasn't hung around today.
Right, Pete's put in about a piece of copper pipe. I think that's supposed to be 1 1/4 inch. I think that's what that's supposed to be.
Yeah. Any idea
Douglas.
about union graduate parts?
Right. I know LRE do the inverter and everything for the speed control. But it is an engineering firm. It's called LRE Engineering. So I would think that could be one of the first places to go to, Douglas. If you're talking about bearings and things like that, that'll be one of the first things. Now, I did send you the link to LRE the other day. Either that or just stick in your search engine union graduate parts.
That's a good point. Dan from Taylor's Murfield is currently up restoring one, so he might have some contacts.
No, he's not.
Well.
He's not.
Was he not?
No. He is restoring a Union Jubilee, not a Union graduate.
Right.
Pete's just had an accident with his bandsaw. He walked right into the corner of the table. Well, at least it wasn't the blade as it was running.
Pete, see these?
Yeah, the glasses, Pete.
Put them on. Bless him. It's his age. I really have to be careful with Pete, because he lives quite close by. He could be here in 2 hours.
Yeah, Ian's getting his unions confused. No, the Jubilee's still a good lathe. It's limited in bowl size that you can turn, but it has got an outboard, or you can do outboard turning on it. It doesn't have a swivel head or anything like that, but it does have threads on the outside of the headstock. It's usually left-handed. Gav's asking who's going to make it. Not me.
Not me.
There's quite a few vendors have actually pulled out. I know Taylor's Murfield have pulled out. Glyn is not going from Yorkshire Grit, which is why I'm not going, because I would have been demoing for him. There's quite a few vendors pulled out. Mark and I were talking about this before we started. It is going to be a case, as far as I'm concerned, it is going to be a case that once the end of June comes around and the social distancing gets binned, Nick will not have an option but to put it on. So it will probably go ahead It's just I don't think it's going to be anywhere near what it was in 2019. Right, David's asking, can you use Yorkshire Grit Microfine on Chestnut, Ebonite and Lacquer to give a glossier finish? I would say it's an abrasive, so you're going to take off any finish that you put on there. But what you can do, since how it is classed as a lacquer, you can use the microfine and then use a good wax finish over the top of it to give it a bit of depth. I've certainly done that in the past.
Harrogate's probably looking more likely.
Yeah, if you're interested in woodwork and wood turning in general, the Harrogate show, that's the North of England Woodworking and Tools Show, I think it's called. That's at the Harrogate, the North Yorkshire Showground at Harrogate. I believe that's the 11th, 12th and 13th of November. That's the place to go. No, Gav, I'm not joking. Yes, I will be at Harrogate. Booked me hotel for Harrogate last night. So I'll be on the Yorkshire Grit stand with Glyn and Joe demoing.
I don't like doing
Ruby's
this. I don't like doing it. It's your show, but she did ask. That's the piece I turned the other day that I was going to do live, when my live went pear-shaped. That's a little banana bowl. There you go. Already turned it. I would say if you've got a ticket for Makers, probably a good idea to keep it because it'll be valid for next year.
I'd email. Well, I'm not too sure if the show is going ahead and people have got tickets. I suggest you get in touch with Nick or with Maker Central directly and find out what the hell's going on. Right, somebody's right. Who's help needed? Is there any sparks in the chat? Took the switch for. I'm not very sure what that is.
Brian, do you want to try typing that again? Because I'm going to hide that one.
Oh, right.
That was Brian. Sparks in the chat.
Colin's going to the Chestnut Weekender. Yeah, the Chestnut Weekender is on. I think that's September, isn't it? And Terry's doing that down in Kent.
Oh, Paul Finley's saying, is there any sparkies in the chat?
Just extraction.
That's what he meant. Just extraction. Didn't take a note where the wires go back. Oops.
Yeah, oops.
See if you can look online if there's a wiring diagram for the model that you've got.
A lot of these switches actually have the wee diagram on them for where things go where, but maybe that one doesn't. What's Ben been saying? I must have missed something.
I think he's been talking with Andy about his...
Right, I've got it on top chat. I'm not getting all the chat. Stupid person.
I think he's been talking to Andy and Gav, Gav about his Morse adapter for the C-jaws.
All right. Well, mine going. All right, okay. Is it a Morse adapter or is it a drive?
I think it's a Morse adapter. Morse adapter that Andy was using the other day.
All right,
Goes
okay.
inside the sea jaws.
Right, I'm with you.
People like my shirt, thank you. Just threw it on this morning.
It was just there.
Yeah.
Gav's saying the small sea jaws and bigger sea jaws. Are there?
Yeah.
Are there?
Well, you can get the SK114 sea jaws specific for the SK.
Right.
Or these ones, which are the SK100 sea jaws.
Oh,
fit.
yeah, right. You
They
can get
fit on the 114.
Right, you can get the sea jaws for the SK80, which would probably be smaller.
Yeah. So these will fit both the 100 and the 114.
Yes, that's right. That's the ones I've got.
But you can also get the specific 114 sea jaws, which are just a little bit bigger, come right out to the outside edge.
Oh, right. Oh, I didn't know that.
Don't know if you can see that lip. There's a lip just there.
Yeah.
The 114 jaws come right out to the edge.
All right, okay.
But both they're both interchangeable.
On the Union Graduate, can a
All
good
this
gearstock
exercise
be fitted to the arm, and an adapter for the headstock for the SC4. You should be able to get an adapter for the headstock for the SC4. I'm sure because that's a Union Graduate, that's an 1.5 by 6. The spindle threads on that. I'm sure you can get adapters for that.
I can't remember where I got my adapters.
Union Graduate. Good. I don't really know what you. Send me a message a bit later on, Douglas, and we'll have a chat about that. Yeah, Andy's saying the jaw carriers on the 114 are longer. They are.
Yes.
The jaw carriers for the SK100 still fit them though.
The 114 carriers, I don't think fit on the 100, but the 100 carriers do fit on the 114.
Yeah.
Because they're longer. Because they're longer, they won't fit on the 100.
I can't remember
close
now.
it down
Because all my
jaws to close.
Yeah, all the jaw carriers that I've got fit onto both of my chucks, the 100 and the 114.
It's a rugby shirt, Robbo, so, you know. Even though you don't win that often, we had to let you on the shirt.
Sorry, Bailey. Sorry I finished too fast.
Oh, Jesus.
That was Mark's compressor switching on. Right, guys, I'm going to call it there. Thanks very much for coming along. Sorry it was quick, but I'll get some photographs up this afternoon at some point so you can actually see how that feathering looks, because it does look pretty special. So I'm going to call it there.
Done in peace, mate.
Thank you. Right, so remember, Steve SK is on tonight. No doubt it'll be me and Mark as earworms, alongside Stuart as well as special guest. And